There comes the art of tearing things down after you put the old Jeep in a parade. A lot of hard work, a lot of pain and effort go into this. God bless the men and the women. Independence Memorial Day Parade, May the 29th, 2023. Travels with John and June Guyman Stephenson, YouTube and Facebook. Two firemen there doing great. God bless you. All new construction out here in Independence. You got a restaurant for every day in the week. More the better. That's who we hit. Frisch's here, our old place here.
Thank you for choosing Frisch's. How can I help you, sir?
I see what you had on special for today. Let me see. What about your original fish sandwich? Extra tartar sauce and lettuce and tomato on it if you don't mind, and order of onion rings. Now, does a Diet Coke go with that?
I can make a combo and it will.
Well, that'll save me a little money, won't it?
Probably.
Well, I'll take that.
Actually, yeah, with the onion rings it would.
Okay. Save me all you can. I'm a senior citizen and an old Frisch's manager.
Oh, yeah?
Years gone go by when Dave Frisch was still alive.
All right. All right.
You want me to just pull on around?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just pull on around. A day is not
tomato and onion on that, right?
tomato and lettuce and tomato. Now, what's your name, young man?
Huh?
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Jordan.
Jordan, a day isn't complete unless you've had a meal from Frisch's.
Oh, yeah?
It's been my place to go for many years.
Oh, yeah?
Ever since Dave Frisch was alive, and I produced the first film on how to increase productivity and how to employ people for Frisch's back in the 1966 and 67, 68 years.
Yeah?
I'm old. And Frisch's is still good.
Yeah?
God bless you, and I'll turn the phone off now, but you folks know I put a little plug in on Facebook and YouTube for Frisch's. I always like to do that. Frisch's big boy, as my wife says, I'm the big boy. And there, folks, is the Frisch's big boy. Been in my life since 1966, 67, 68, and ever since. Had a wonderful time working there with Bill Mappin, Ken Ross, Marvin Fields, Jack Mayer, David Frisch. Mr. Frisch was still alive when I was there. Wonderful man, wonderful stores, great training. I produced one of my first films for them, how to employ people and how to increase productivity. Travels with John Stephenson here, Frisch's in Independence, Kentucky. Don't forget, folks, you can't go wrong with a Frisch's sandwich. Memorial Day Parade. Frisch's Big Boy. And I have to pay tribute to Kroger's too, and Bill Gibson, Mr. Gibson, and McDonald's with Lou Groen over in Erlanger, and Mr. Frisch for taking in the first handicapped employees in the 60s when I was rehabilitation counselor for the State Department of Education, and began an effort of emceeing the Special Olympics for 40-some years, which are great for all in northern Kentucky. And McDonald's, where I've eaten many a hamburger and got a mini McFlurry for Miss June over the years. Eddie Smallwood and Jimmy Noakes also worked at McDonald's in Erlanger. Lou Groen, the first McDonald's over there. When they cut their own French fries back in those days. Ah yes, time's gone by. Paul Gibson at Kroger's helped us get the first handicapped people into Kroger's. And I loved working for the rehabilitation department of education in Kentucky under Dr. Lyman Ginger, who was at that point commissioner of education, and wonderful man. And I became, in 1992, the last elected superintendent of education for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Just a little history, folks. Be sure and check out our post on Facebook for Memorial Day Parade and our salute to Memorial veterans, including the ones in our family and our friends like Darius Beach and Jay Brandner and the Guymans, the Stephensons and the Binghams and the Beaches. Praise the Lord. Salute all the veterans here in Independence Cemetery. Many high school friends and friends from government. June's friends that she's made walking up here with people. And of course, my little niece Cindy Stephenson. Bless her heart. Her little gravestone's down here. And her father, Gerald, was a veteran. My brother, Dorothy. Wonderful people. 3 sons, 3 brothers, Greg, Todd, and Jerry. All wonderful people. And there's the little flowers on the gravesite for Cindy. Little pink flowers. Beautiful as they are. to Stephenson. To all the veterans in the cemetery here, we lift them up to the Lord and their families up to the Lord. Now, are you ready? Are you ready for Jesus? He knocks on everybody's door, but the knob's on the inside. You've got to turn the knob and invite him into your heart. And like old Harold Pike used to say, make a U-turn in life. Pastor Pike said, for many years, gone on to heaven now. I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or lands. I'd rather be led by his nail-pierced hands than to be the king of a vast domain, or be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. God bless America. God bless Kentucky. And the love of Jesus. Red, yellow, brown, black, or white. They're all precious in Jesus' sight. God bless you. And have a great day. And a great service, memorial service, for all the citizens to see. Here from Independence, Kentucky. Michelle's mom, Mary Connect, Mary Stephenson Connect, right in here, this section here in Latonia, Kentucky area. Boy, oh boy, can you imagine how this place changes, doesn't it? You can hardly find somebody's gravesite. I'm driving back down through there and I thought, now, is this the right street or what's with me? I'm losing my mind. Yeah. Well, it's nice you come out. I'm visiting 4 grave sites today, and I filmed the whole memorial parade out at Independence. If you ever get out on YouTube, you can watch the whole thing out there under Travels with Dr. John Stephenson. Where y'all from? Oh, Union? Well, I've been to JC's out there for, I guess, 15 years. And I went on to be superintendent of education for the whole state of Kentucky. Yeah, back in 1992. I was the last elected one. Now I'm just old. Well, you all take care. Stephenson's my name. Travels with John Stephenson. You can see it on Facebook. Take care. Well, we'll go take a little peek at Courtney's and First Church of God. I've been there. That's where we were there at a funeral. Well, that was wonderful there. You get to stop and say hello to Todd. Franny, I tell you what, I have so much fun in life. All the kids there. He's got the place fixed up really beautiful there. They both have. Or it makes it nice to be there at the house. And they both are hard workers. I mean to tell you, hard workers. Boy, both very intelligent. All those boys are very smart. Todd and Jerry and Greg. And Cindy was very smart. Very smart. A wonderful young lady. This is a narrow road, though. I'll tell you that. You got to watch what you're doing. And up here, one of the teachers that was a great teacher lived on this road. Two of them, as a matter of fact. Mr. Grover Holbrook, I'll go by that and show you where he lived. Now, he built his house there while he was teaching. And then Mrs. Let's see. Oh, there's Grover's house right there. I think that's it right there. Yep, that's it. And this is was his Rector tree farm. I'll back up here so you can see this house he built. He was our industrial arts teacher. And he was a good man, trained a lot of us youngsters on what to do and how to do it and what not to do. There it is right there. That was his home. And he had a tree farm here and sold trees. And I bought a many a tree from him. And some of those trees you see up there on the house that I built on Moffett Road came from his farm here. I had him come down and look and tell me what I needed. And he did. He put it together for me and did a beautiful job. I think he built that house there too, but I'm not certain on that. But at least part of the family lived there, I believe. And then the Cassons lived up here on the right. Now the houses have changed here some, so I don't know if they're the same houses or not, but this is where they lived. And I think they had about I might be wrong, but I think they had about maybe 15 children. And there was a lady that lived back here. I don't know if it was Mrs. Martin, that was her name or not, but she lived back there on a farm, and she was a great teacher. I don't think the old house is still there or not. I don't know for sure. But I believe it was a Mrs. Martin, but I'm not certain on that. And somewhere right around in here is where the Cassons lived. But of course the houses have changed since then. Like our house was shoved over the hill. It was a little 4-room frame house. No running water, no inside facilities. And water in a well, and keep your food cold in an ice box out in the storehouse. Rector Road, right off of Moffett Road here. I will go up and go by the house again. Beautiful, beautiful homes back through there. You can see them. Whole street loads back in there. $400,000 and $500,000 homes. We'll go by here. Simon Kenton's graduates there, and then there's where Gerald lived. My brother had 2 acres there, 2992 Moffett Road. Down over that hollow's where the house was shoved that I grew up in. I attempted one day to walk down back there and see if I could find a piece of the wood from it. But Dad owned us 12 acres in here, and that's where we had our cattle and milk cows. Eddie lived here. And then up here's where I lived and built this house right here. 2994 Moffett Road. Put the fencing up and everything. Beautiful driveway. Plenty of space, 2-car garage. Full basement underneath of it. And you can see a good picture of it here. Beautiful place. Miss June loved it, and I loved it. Got the flags out there. Over here's where the Roys lived. This was Martin Road. Fence looks like it's leaning a little bit here, but it holds itself up. All the trees and the landscaping are things that we planted. June and I did. None of those trees were there when we started. It's got a pool back behind it now, as I understand. I've not seen it personally, but looks like that's what it is. It's fenced in there. And here's the back gate. Here. That you can go in. And down there's where the Kerrs lived. That's where you see that picture of me with the young lady with the guitar. That's where we were, in that house there. That I think it was Joe Kerr that built that house. Her name was Carol Kerr. Strikingly beautiful young lady. We all had a crush on her, I think. And she was very brilliant. A wonderful lady. I think she married some doctor out in the western states or someplace. The last tracking that I had on her. And down here's where Tommy Strain had his greenhouse. I think he's gone on to heaven, but I think his wife Yvonne is still alive. And she graduated high school with me in 1961. Yvonne Friedman Strain. Beautiful little cottage though. This was all added on to or rebuilt when Mr. Fightmaster used to live here and sit on the front porch and play the banjo. And right there's where our house used to stand. Now it's been gone for some time. And but they've got a nice little house built there and garage there. But this is where the old house used to stand that we lived in and grew up in, that Judy and I and Mary Ruth grew up in, and Gerald lived here for a while when he came back from the service. And but then got his own place. And Barbara never actually lived here. She lived back when they were on Wolf Road, and Gerald did too. And I did too, and Judy did too, but we only lived there till we were about, 7 or 8 years old. And we moved out here to the farm. I'm not exactly certain of the date that we moved out here. But the Martins lived down here. I think it was in one of these houses here, but these might be new houses. And the Dunns lived over here. And on the left. These are all new houses here, so I'm not sure who these folks are here. But down here's where Cindy Noakes now lives, and where Jim Noakes lived and grew up on the left down here. And Eddie Smallwood grew up on the right across the street from him. Eddie went on to be assistant superintendent of schools down in Florida and a teacher down there, educator, and quite active in a lot of Masonic things. And Scottish Rite and Shrine does a lot of work with them. I talked to some people out here one day and had a great visit with them. But there's the Smallwood's old house, and here's the Noakes' old house added on to. Cindy's got it looking really nice and cleaned up and just beautiful. And it was nice to visit with her out here that day. I don't see her standing out anywhere. And over here's Eddie Smallwood's original home. Try to take a little picture of that there if I can. A little picture of the Noakes house here, where Cindy is. And where Bill Roy's house was right down there. And we used to play ball right out here. We used to play ball right in this field right here. I'll pull in and let this guy get by me here. The old Roy house and the ball field. That was the ball field right there. And believe me, we used to hit balls off the side of the Roy's house here. And Bill Roy was a great baseball player at Simon Kenton High School. A very good pitcher. Very good pitcher. Quite a talent. There's a Smallwood house there. We used to go in there and play cards all the time. And Mrs. Smallwood, she's still alive, bless her heart. She's in her 90s. I get to go sing to her once in a while when Eddie gives me a call. If they're going to have any visitors, I get to go sing to her, and I love doing that. She loved my mom, and my mom loved her. And my mom loved all the ladies here, including Mrs. Noakes here. She loved her. My mom was a Sunday school teacher at the church. And I grew up with those boys. They were about 2 years younger than me. They were 2 years behind me in school. And this is where the man lived that I talked with last time I was out here. Had a wonderful visit. And see that building right there? There used to be a basketball goal on the side of that building where we come up here and played basketball every day after school or in the summertime. Times have changed, times have gone on, and things have moved on, as they say, and I guess that's one of the scriptures so much favored with me, is that Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord in all your ways. Acknowledge Him, and He will make your pathway straight. Hello. How are you folks doing? You aren't any kin to the Dunns, are you, by any chance? Do you remember that name? Do you remember the Dunns? Well, I lived right up here. My house I lived in is tore down, of course. It was right next to that White House there. And we had about 12 acres there. And I built the big home up on the end there. Do you know one on the end of the road there?
Yeah,
I built that one. And I had 2 acres left there out of the 12-acre farm that my dad had.
Right.
Now, what did you live out here then, or?
I grew up right there. I'm Bonnie Strain's daughter.
Oh, are you Bonnie Strain's daughter? Well, let me get a picture of you. Hang on a second. Bonnie Strain and I graduated from high school together.
Yeah, when you said you did the house at the end, I knew that.
Yeah, all right. And that's that house there. Now, Tommy's gone on to heaven, I think.
Yes, yes.
Well, will you tell Bonnie I said hello?
I will, yeah.
And I love her.
I will.
And she was a wonderful student. And in that house, Mr. Fightmaster used to live, and he would sit out on the front porch and play the banjo.
Sorry, there's somebody behind you. I was just letting them know that.
Can they get by?
So he played the banjo?
Huh?
He played the banjo, you said?
Yeah, Mr. Fightmaster played the banjo. He'd sit out on the front porch of the house that was there,
Right.
and play the banjo, and us kids would all run over and listen to him.
Oh, okay.
I loved growing up out here.
Oh, I did too. That's why once I got pregnant, we moved out here to raise our kids, so.
Well, I'm just so thrilled that you're Bonnie's daughter.
Yeah.
And now your name is
Heather. I'm her youngest daughter.
Heather.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you, and thanks for talking to me.
No problem. You have a good day.
Okay, and tell Bonnie Johnny Stephenson said hello.
I will let her know.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye.
Oh, now what a wonderful stop that was. See, you don't know. You got to stop and ask. You got to open the lines of communication in life. Oh, I just love people. Goodness gracious sakes alive. I just love, God made us so wonderful. We are really blessed to be able to talk to people and learn and grow. Now here's where Miss Lee lived, and wonderful lady, and Benny Lee was her husband's name. She lived there for years. I don't know. I think she's gone on to heaven, but I don't want to say because I don't really know. But there's where I lived. Not in that house, not in that barn. We had a barn, all right, and we had a house, all right, but it was a little 4-room frame house, and wonderful. But there was 12 acres in here altogether that we had, and had a pond right there back behind where that building is now. And then of course this is where Bonnie's living, where her mother is living here. How beautiful, how wonderful. I'm glad she's still alive. Maybe I can come stop down here and say hi to her someday. And the Kerrs lived up there. Wonderful people around here. Actually, I love this house we built out here. It was our dream house, Miss June and I. But you know, life has its ups and downs, and we've battled a lot of diseases, my diabetic diseases, and my accidents, and my injuries, and Miss June's Crohn's disease, and her problems with that, and all that goes with that. But you know something? We have each other. And we have the pictures of the places where we were that we loved. We had a full basement under that house. And see all those trees that are there? Those are trees we planted. That's trees of love. And the fence line, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'll go down here and try to get a little better picture of the house. I'm not down here that often. Although it doesn't bother me much anymore. It used to bother me quite a bit, frankly. Because, you know, in life you have your ups and downs financially. And we're lucky to be alive. But it's difficult. I haven't had a health insurance policy for, I guess, 15 years. I've been having to just take it as I can get it. I love the flags there. Except Medicare, no. And that only pays for 80% of things. So, but I love the house here. Try to get a good picture from this angle. And the trees. And a full basement underneath of it. We bought that house in pieces and had it brought in. It was quite a challenge, as a matter of fact. I'm going to turn here and turn around. 2994. And I built a driveway, didn't I? Even I can turn around in this driveway. See all the beautiful vegetation and the trees. Well, that's enough memories. Thank you, Lord, for the time you've allowed us to live there. And the blacks and the Roys, good neighbors on both sides. Life has many memories. Well, let's head back to our little cottage down Independence. 38 McCollum Pike, a road. I call it road. 38 McCollum Road, Independence, Kentucky. 41051 zip code. Frank Jackson and the Jacksons there, both sides. Quite a farm he had here. I think some family members live in this house here too, of the Jacksons. All grown up. Walked this road, ran this road almost every evening. Coming home from basketball practice or track practice. Getting home in time to milk the cows. Check the beehives. Raise the corn. Plant the tobacco. Yep. Raise the garden. Help Mom can. Wash the clothes with the old wooden scrub board. And hang them out on the clothesline to dry. Read a little scriptures at night, every night. Play a little music, sing a few songs. The old upright piano, which is still down at the Oak Ridge Baptist Church. After we found a home for it down there. I think it's still down there in their basement. On the Oak Island Baptist Church, down there at the end of, on Moffett Road. Down by where Mr. Gray used to live. Mr. Gray was another great teacher in agriculture. And Bob Barnes, how can I forget him? I didn't mention him. Bob Barnes, who went on to be assistant superintendent and later superintendent. And later in charge of all the mechanics of the university over at North. Wonderful, intelligent man. He was my agriculture teacher for 4 years, Bob Barnes. And fabulous. You got it. He drilled it in you. And Future Farmers of America, where I was secretary of that organization, and in speaking contests all across the state, gave me my first thrills with parliamentary procedure. And I learned it frontwards and backwards from Bob Barnes, how to compete with it. I'm sure it led to my desire to be in public life. Mom died in 1965, and Dad's dad died crushed between two railroad cars on the railroad when Dad was just 5 years old. What a shock that would be. My dad lived to be 86 and saw us sworn in, as I said before, by Federal Judge Eugene Seiler to be Superintendent of Education. And Mom died at the age of 54 in 1965. That was a loss for all of us kids and for all of her friends. She was a wonderful mother, a wonderful lady, and a wonderful teacher of the Bible and of life. A lot of lessons learned. Well, I'm going into my 80th birthday in September the 4th, 2023. So as the Hammonds say, I'm already in my 80th year, which I guess is true. So I'm in my 80th year. I like to use that because it gives a little more sound of wisdom than just saying you're 79. Yeah, I have a little sense of humor in these things. Now, right down here is where Jeff Fisk grew up. This beautiful little brick home right there. That's where he grew up. And I never will forget his mother picking me up after a basketball game. It was quite interesting. And It was the first game of the season, and I was a junior. I had scored some 26 points in the reserve game, and we won. And they called me in off the bench to play in the varsity game. And I wound up scoring 19 points. We won the game by 2 points, 58-56. And they carried me off the floor on their shoulders. They better not try that now. Carried me off the floor on their shoulders. And I hit things I hit shots I hit that were quite unbelievable. So I went in there and got a shower. I don't even know if I got a shower or not back in those days. But I went on out home because I had to get home to milk the cow. Well, anyway, I had to hitchhike home. Miss Fisk picked me up. It was raining. My mom and dad never did see me play basketball. They only saw one track meet, and Mom never seen them. She didn't drive at all, and Dad came up and watched one track meet when I run the 100 and 220 and won both races and won the high hurdles and high jumped. And but Miss Fisk picked me up out there in front of the school on the road hitchhiking in the rain. I never will forget what she said to me when I was in the car with her, because she was always there to watch Jeff play, Jeff Fisk, and he was an excellent player. And she said, "Now, Johnny, don't let this go to your head." I thought to myself, it was quite thrilling. I said, "But Miss Fisk, I got to go home and milk the cow. And I got to get up in the morning and milk it again." I said, "I don't think it's going to go to my head." But I love you. She was a wonderful lady. And we had some wonderful people there at Simon Kenton High School. And they got the same kind of people over at Dixie High School. And I'm sure it's that way at the new school also. It was just wonderful people, wonderful kids. Kentucky is a wonderful place with wonderful people. Being the only Kentuckian who can actually say this honestly, that I've been to every single county, and June has been there with me too, every single county at least 5 times, and filmed the history of all 120 counties, and donated a set of the tapes to every county library in the state, and now have them all on YouTube where people and children and teachers can see them and use them, as well as the trip to 8 countries in Europe. On our honeymoon, we filmed and put all on public access. Did the very first show on public access and store cable in 1982 called How to Weatherize Your Home. And when I had my own corporation, PMA, Policy Management Associates, I trained all the community action agency workers across every county in Kentucky on how to weatherize homes for senior citizens. So I've had some great opportunities and learned a lot from all the jobs that I've been in. All the things I learned here at the schools, Kenton Elementary and Simon Kenton High School. It was an honor and pleasure to be a part of Simon Kenton. I have a great affection and love for it, frankly, and the people that ran it. And one of my uncles that were on the school board. They did a great job. Herb Schaefer and Oatney, Worthington, and Mr. Worthington were the wonderful Dad's cousins, wonderful people. I learned a lot from them. But one thing I've learned, some things to do and some things not to do. And that's a part of life, isn't it? We have to always watch what we're doing and how we're doing it. And you can make mistakes. So you listen to people and learn. I learned a lot. I still learn a lot. I learn a lot today from people I've visited all day today, people I've watched, people I've heard, people I've read. June and I listened to probably about, I'd say, probably each week we probably listen to at least 2 a day sermons, and most of the time even 3 or 4 a day on WIOK 107.5 FM on the radio dial. Post Office Box 50, Falmouth, Kentucky, 41040 zip code. You say, why do I say that? Well, I say that because they need partners. They need help. If you want to send in a little contribution to help America, help keep our rights, the ministers that you'll hear on there. And I say go to church too. Find you a church to go to. I can name you one great one, Randy Wallace at Oak Ridge Baptist Church. But any Baptist church, any of them are wonderful. Tim Frommuth over at Bethesda Community Church. We went over there many years. And Latonia Baptist, great church. The Catholic churches, go to a church. Educate your children. Give them 30 minutes of your time. Teach them the real history of life. And encourage the Bible to be taught in our schools. In our schools, where 2 or 3 are gathered together, you've been amongst us. Well, I'm down here. I think I'm on the right road here, yep. I'm headed for home. Thank goodness. I'm tired. It has been a long day. And I'm so thrilled I've been able to do what I've done. And I hope you all enjoy it. Hope it's not too boring. But I've had a good time. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed talking about all of my farmer students. Wonderful students. Both in the classroom and the students I grew up with. They're all smart and intelligent and great students. You know, you look at all of them. I enjoy and love them. I can go right down the book, show you the pictures of all of them, and none of them I don't love. I loved them. I learned a lot from them. They were smart students. They were great athletes. And I still learn. Love is a process that never ends. You're always learning love. And the love of Jesus is the most important love to have. Well, this is the little street we live on now. It's called McCullum Road, sometimes McCullum Pike. But I like to call it McCullum Road. All wonderful people up and down the road here. All unique and wonderful people. Our neighbors are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Robin and Joel, Hammond, and Tanya, Pemberton, Betty, wonderful people. Across the street, wonderful people. Up the street, wonderful people. June knows them all. And they know us. We love them. Neighbors. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together, he'll be amongst us. And here we are pulling into, I'll have to back up here first. Get straightened out here. I better do this right, or Miss June, when she comes home, she'll say, John, the car is not parked properly. And I'll have to say, well, hon, I did the best that I could do. But I'll try to do a little better here, if I can. Well, good. I think that's good right there. I'm off the road. You see the trees we planted here, including the aristocrat pear tree. June's got the house all decorated beautifully. Everything is beautiful. Memorial Day. And I've had a beautiful day. June's had a beautiful day being with her sisters, Kathy, Sylvia, Heidi. I'll sit down for a minute here on the porch and enjoy myself. Oh. I love to sit here and just say, hi, welcome to Independence. You're going to have a great time. I left a window open on the car, though I just see. I'm glad I looked out. Huh. Mercy. Peekaboo. 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 How you, boy? How you doing? How you doing? Come on over and see Daddy. I know. I know. You're looking for something. Josephine and Peekaboo. Josephine sniffing my shirt, saying, Dad, you're supposed to hang this up. What's the deal? Hi, Josephine. Peekaboo thinks he's on the attack. Now watch him. Look at him. He's going to try to chase her a little bit. And she might not like that. But here he comes. He says, Dad, uh-oh. He's got his ball to play with. Oh, yes, he's a peekaboo. Yes, you're a boy. You're a pretty boy. Yes, you are. Yes, Daddy loves you. Yes, he does. Daddy loves you. Yes. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Mommy has to brush you every day to get a handful of hair off of you. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Yes. Here comes Josie. Hi, Josie. How you doing, little girl? How's Daddy's little girl? Yes, your little girl. Josie, we love you. We love both of you. Yeah, oh, now, try to behave yourselves. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Peekaboo, be nice. You're twice her size. I know you're lying in there waiting for her. Here she is right here. Yes, you're a pretty girl, Josephine. Little Josie. I think you're about 10 years old. Peekaboo's only about 1.5 years old. Yes, yes, I know. You both been taking your naps today. Well, Mommy's been gone and I've been gone. Mommy's over helping Miss Sylvia, visiting with her, with Heidi, Kathy, and June over there. Goodness gracious. Peekaboo, behave yourself. You're too big and too rough. Although I tell you, Josie holds her own, I think. Well, she jumps right down there where he is. Eesh. My goodness gracious sakes alive. Strange world. Now, dogs I understand. Cats, they've always amazed me. You can't ever figure out what they're up to. I know one thing for sure.
It's supposed to be hot all week.
Heidi, Kathy, June, and Sylvia. Travels with the Stephensons, John and June Guyman Stephenson. Join us on Facebook or YouTube under John Stephenson, and on YouTube under Travels with Dr. John Stephenson. And watch many shows that we have on, current shows and those in the past. Just remember, Christ is the center of our home, a guest at every meal, a silent listener to every conversation, and the beauty of his world that he created. Just parts of beautiful scenery. You know, traveling today to all the cemeteries and being at the memorial parade. It's been a wonderful week. Visits with my sister Judy. June's visits over with her sisters together. And being at the birthday party and the graduation ceremony with Todd and Newton and Daryl Newton, my barbers and hairstylists. And being out with the schools and the homes that June and I have built many years. And just talking to you, the citizens, on our travels. Being with Donnie and Ethan and Guy and Judy. And a wonderful visit. Michelle, wonderful daughter, and then with Pamela and Ike and Bo, and Ike graduating from Covington Latin School and going on to UK Science. Quite a brilliant young man, pleasant young man. Being with Steve Dallas, my cousin, and my daughter Pamela, my wife Miss June Guyman Stephenson, and listening to Evan Dallas preach a beautiful sermon on what's heaven like. And listening to him sing the songs that he's written reminds me of the songs I've written myself, one of which you'll hear on these tapes about old Kentucky County. God bless you and have a great day. We hope you enjoyed our travels today and yesterday and the day before with all the different things that we come across the video to give you a look at life in the northern Kentucky area, the Commonwealth of Kentucky area, Greater Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. And don't forget, come on out now. In June here, we're going to have the Italian Festival, and you want to be a part of that. We'll be at the opening ceremonies on Thursday night, coming up shortly, and the beginning of June here. So come on out to the Italian Festival. I'll be singing my old Kentucky home for about the 20th year. Great folks in the city of Newport. God bless you. Have a great day. And just remember, are you ready? Are you ready? Jesus is knocking on everybody's door, but we must reach down and turn the knob and invite him into our hearts. And like old Harold Pike, which we drove by today and visited at his gravesite, make a U-turn in life, he would say. Give your heart to Jesus. Let the Holy Spirit come in. God's the judge. Word of love. Have a great day. 859-750-0000, or join us on Facebook or YouTube, and don't forget to listen to WIOK 107.5 FM on the radio dial, Post Office Box 50, Falmouth, Kentucky, 41040 zip code, with Gil and Janet Hammond. 32 years of gospel music and great sermons by Adrian Rogers and Michael Youssef and Dr. Dobson, and David Jeremiah. Just wonderful sermons, local and national. Down in Barry, Kentucky, great sermons and great views. God bless you and have a great day. And just remember, red and white, red, yellow, brown, black, and white, we're all precious in Jesus' sight.